just to let you all know, recording, you probably got a prompt that let you know that we'd be recording this webinar and for you to give permission to allow it to be recorded. My name is M. Jackson. I am the Director of Peer Engagement and Support at FreeFrom, and my pronouns are they, them, theirs. Today, we'll be talking about our savings matching program. I'm very excited to talk to you all about this and very excited for you all to be a part of this program. Before I go ahead and get started on the webinar and the presentation today, I want to go ahead and hand it over to my teammate, Anakaren, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm happy to be here with you. My name is Anakaren. I also go by AK. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Systems and Effectiveness Manager here at FreeFrom. Just one quick little thing. We have closed captioning available. So if you want to use that feature, it should show up in your Zoom settings. You can go ahead and click on the CC and enable and disable the closed captioning through there. If you have any questions on how to do that, you can also reach out to me through the chat and I can go ahead and support you, give you more specific instructions on how to do that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, AK. And just to let you all know, as I'm the individual that pretty much is the lead on the savings matching program, and Anakaren is there to help with logistics, also with any folks that primarily speak Spanish and would like to be contacted and communicated with in Spanish, you would be contacting AK for that. So we'll go ahead and get started on our presentation today. So just to give you all an overview of what we'll be covering today, we'll start with the grounding exercise. Then we'll also have time to reflect for a little bit. And then we'll have an introduction to FreeFrom, discuss the creation of this program, discuss an overview of the program, talk about next steps. Then we'll go over a few common questions, and then we'll have time at the end for questions and answers. If you have any questions that come up throughout the time that I am providing information, feel free to go ahead and enter that into the chat. And anytime that we ask you to participate in any questions that we ask, if you can go ahead and put those answers in the chat. All right. So I would like to invite you all to participate in a grounding activity. I wanted to make sure that we took time to do this before we get started, and we're talking about savings, we're talking about money, and that can bring up a lot of feelings. So I want to make sure that we're all able to take time to get into the right headspace and make sure that we are feeling good in our bodies so that we can be able to really receive the information that's presented today. So if you are comfortable with accepting that invitation, if I could have you think about what calms your body and your mind. Maybe it's taking a few deep breaths, closing your eyes, doing a quick stretch. Maybe it's doodling or something else. Take a few moments to do that now. I also ask that you sit comfortably or choose a body position that feels really good for you as you are thinking about what is calming your body and your mind. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? What are you bringing with you? And what are you leaving behind? All right. Thank you to everyone that participated in that grounding activity and accepted that invitation. If it's any times throughout the presentation that you feel like you need to take a moment to step away, take a moment to just choose a different body position, whatever it is that you need to do to be able to be present, or if you need to just take some time to yourself, feel free to do that. As a reminder, this presentation will be recorded, so you can always come back to anything that you missed. All right. So I would like to start by asking you all to participate in a reflection activity. So if you could share in the chat, what do you want to save for? And what excites you about this particular program? Now you can choose to answer both questions. You can choose to answer one of the questions, or maybe you're not comfortable with answering either right now. But for those of you who are comfortable, if you could share your responses in the chat. And AK, if you wouldn't mind reading any responses, a few responses that come in.
Yeah. So we have some people that are saying travel, grad school, save up for a car,
Excellent.
save to move, save for emergencies, housing, and medical emergencies.
Wow. That is great. Thank you all for sharing that. And that just goes to show us so many different things that we all are interested in saving for. And the fact that you all have decided to participate in this program, I'm very excited about that, and that this could be something that you can do along your savings journey that perhaps had started before the program. Maybe it's just now beginning. And we hope that is something that will continue after your participation has been completed within the program as well. So I wanted to start by discussing with you all our approach, and then I'll go into our values. I think it's important for those of you who may be new to Free From, or who may have been connected to our program before, just to be reminded of our own approach when we are working with survivors. So we envision a world where survivors have sustaining income, savings, and credit with which to build wealth, and the resources to support individual, intergenerational, as well as community healing. To that end, we are taking a holistic approach using technology, peer-to-peer networks, training programs for gender-based violence agencies, policy advocacy, social enterprise models, as well as cross-sector solutions. And what we really aim to do within our approach is to create an ecosystem of support for survivors. So looking at our values, I think this is important for folks who are working with us to see what we value and how that really informs the work that we do. So our values are that gender-based violence is an economic issue with economic causes and economic consequences. GBV is not a women's issue, as GBV disproportionately affects trans and non-binary people. Experiences of LGBTQ+ and BIPOC survivors are centered and inform our work and workforce. Survivors are experts by experience and are trusted at all costs. Anyone can be a harm doer. Transformative justice supports survivors, harm doers, and communities in their healing. Defunding the police and investing in non-carceral responses is crucial to creating long-term security for survivors and their families and communities. Living wage work and survivor-centered workplaces are essential to our movement's progress. Service providers are survivors. Economic justice is healing justice, and sex work is work. So now I want to talk to you all about why we created a savings matching program. So we wanted to make sure that we created a program that was something that had survivor-centered in everything that we do within this program. And in order to do that, we wanted to make sure we incorporated all of the things that you see listed on the screen. So we wanted to make sure that there was flexibility within the program. We know how important that is for survivors and honestly folks in general to be able to have flexibility when it comes to building or creating the savings. We also believe in survivor-centered financial products. So making sure that the financial products that we provide for the survivors that we work with are really thinking through what survivors will need and listening to what survivors have told us they would need in financial products in order for them to really be able to have a positive outlook, as well as to feel centered within their own healing journey. We wanted to make sure that we eliminated restrictions. So there are restrictions that folks have told us and that we have known that they have faced in previous savings matching programs. So we wanted to make sure restrictions that could come in folks needing to have a bank account or folks needing to have a social security number, that those were eliminated in the program that we created. We wanted to make sure that it was easy for folks to participate. We didn't want it to be anything extra or any added stress folks had to endure in order to participate within this program. And most importantly, we wanted to support survivors in growing a savings cushion of at least $500. We wanted to invest in you all and make sure that we did that by actually matching you all as you saved on your own. So how exactly does the program work? So the program is 6 months long. Folks will participate one time. And this is why you may have noticed in our outreach that we asked for questions, and you also would have noticed that in the intake survey to just make sure folks were in the best place for them to participate at this time. Since this is a one-time participating program, we want to make sure that folks are able to get the most out of the program at the time that they participate. And for us, being able to get the most out of the program is to be able to at least save $40 a month so that you can get that maximum match from us. So what you'll also be doing is self-reporting how much you save each month. You would self-report in the form of a survey. And I'll go over that in a few more slides, but with that survey, you'll receive a survey once a month as you are participating within the program over the 6 months. And it will ask you how much you saved. And something that we won't be doing is asking you to provide documentation of how much you saved. This really is a trust-based program that we believe what you say you saved is what you saved. We'll also be matching up to $40 a month for 6 months. And then you'll also get a $20 sign-on bonus with your first match. And so let's say you saved $40 on your first match for your first month, then you would also get that $20. So what that first match would look like from us would be $60 because you have the $40 as well as the $20 sign-on bonus. As I mentioned, it does not require a social security number to participate in this program, proof of savings, or a bank account. All of these things we know can be restrictive and can eliminate folks from being able to participate if they don't have those things. And so we wanted to make sure that within our savings matching program, you didn't need that to be able to participate. And AK, if there are any questions that are coming in as I'm going through the presentation, can you go ahead and read that out for me?
Yeah.
Thank you. So it's also different ways to save. We know that folks don't save in one particular way. You may save through a bank account. Perhaps you have a savings account. Maybe you have an additional account in addition to your checking account and maybe your primary savings account that you use to save money. You may also use an app like Venmo, or maybe you use PayPal, or maybe you use cash. Maybe what you do is you set aside cash once a month or however often, and you put that to the side in your home or in a different place. And that's a way that really feels good for you to be able to save. So we wanted to make sure that we recognize that it's no right way, of course, to save, but that we understand that folks utilize different types of ways to be able to save. So thinking through what I mentioned about the survey that folks will be filling out once a month, how exactly do you report your savings? So one thing that I'll say before I get into this is that filling out that survey once a month is very, very important. And you'll see that kind of throughout the rest of the presentation, where we definitely emphasize that, because we don't want you to miss out on your match. So folks will receive a reminder once a month that will say, don't forget to fill out the survey, and it will have a survey attached. This will all come in an email from myself. The emails are automated, and you would receive that on the 1st of the month, and then you will have until the 10th of the month to fill that survey out, so that you won't miss that month's matching payment, and you would get paid on the 15th unless it falls on a weekend or a holiday. So once you will submit your monthly savings in the form of a survey that we send out, again, we'll match you up to $40, and then we'll send you a payment via your preferred method on the 15th of the month. So when you filled out that intake survey, then what happened is that you were asked what would be your payment preference. So check in the mail, was it that you wanted direct deposit? Was it that you wanted Venmo or PayPal? And so whatever it was that you chose on your intake survey, that is what we will use to be able to pay you for your matching payments. So you can expect to receive your payment in 5 to 7 business days after the 15th. And if that falls on a holiday or a weekend, the 15th, then make sure that you allow for time for that. I think it's a question that is coming in. And the question that I'm seeing, and no worries, AK, I just went ahead and clicked on the chat. Is there a savings amount that takes us out of the program? For example, if someone saves up $500 in 4 months, are they no longer allowed to participate in the last 2 months? That is a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. So there is not a certain amount that would take you out of the program. We want you to save as much as you can. What our hope is that you're able to save at minimum that $40 a month. If for some reason you're not able to save that $40 a month for 1 month, 2 months, however many months, that's okay. You still will receive that match up to the $40. But if you're able to save more, then that is incredible. Like, we want to be able to have this program to be something that you're able to really see as a way to fuel your savings. And if you're able to save that much, we are very proud of you and very happy for that. So yes, you would continue on for the entire 6 months, no matter how much you were able to save. Hopefully that answers your question, Delilah. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Okay. So looking at how you're reporting your savings, if you submit your survey form and you say that you saved $35.77, let's say in December, by the due date of January 10th. So again, remember, you'll be receiving an email on the 1st of the month that will say, it's time to submit your savings for the month, fill out your survey, and you have until the 10th. So December, you save for the full month of December, January comes around, and then by January 10th, it's due. So what we would do is we would send you a matching payment of $35.77 on January 15th, unless it fell on a weekend or holiday. And when you think about it that way, if you keep in mind that we're matching up to $40 a month. So if you saved $50 in December, then we would match you $40. So if you save less than 40, then we would match you that amount. And then if you save more than 40, then we would match you that 40. But we really encourage you to save as much as you're able to, as much as you're comfortable with. But just so you know how that exactly works. And as a reminder, with that first matching payment, you would receive that $20 bonus on top of the amount that you were matched. So some dates to remember. I've kind of gone over this a little bit already, but just as a reminder. The 1st of the month Once you begin the program, you will receive an email reminder to complete your monthly survey each month. So for many of the folks that are on this webinar today, you will be beginning the program December 1st. So what that means is that you have already signed up for the program, you're already enrolled. And so because you are beginning the program, and this is if you are already enrolled, because you are beginning the program December 1st, then what that means is that your first match would come the following month. So your first match would come in January because you're reporting for the full month of December. And so the 10th of the month is when your monthly survey is due. What I highly recommend is once you begin in the program, as I mentioned, those who are enrolled right now will be starting December 1st. Once you begin in the program, if you could set reminders in your phone or maybe on a calendar you have, or just somewhere that will help you remember, it's the first of the month, let me go ahead and just fill this out right now. Just because, as I mentioned, we don't want you to miss out on that month's matching payment. Something else to remember is that what you will also receive is a welcome email from me, and that'll come next week. It'll have the recording of this webinar along with the slides, so you can have that to reference back. And it'll tell you about, getting started for the beginning of the program. And then if you have enrolled, then on December 1st, you will receive an email that will say, welcome to the program, not welcome to the program, you'll have that one already, but you will receive an email that says your saving starts today. And so that's something to keep in mind. That's something to keep an eye out for, is that email communication from me. So the 15th of the month, as I mentioned, that is when you will receive your matching payment unless the 15th falls on a weekend or holiday. And again, that matching payment would go to the payment choice that you chose when you filled out the intake survey. And then the 25th of the month. So maybe you know of other survivors, or maybe you haven't fully enrolled and you just wanted to come into this webinar to learn more about the program. The 25th of the month is the last day of the month to begin the program the following month. So everyone that has already enrolled, they had until the 25th of November to enroll for December 1st. So that December 1st cohort, if that makes sense. And again, let me know if any of this is confusing or you need me to clarify in any way. But making sure, most importantly, that when the first of the month comes, that you are ready to go to fill out that intake survey. And again, we will be sending this out to you. All the email communication will have everything detailed, but it can be a bit of a learning curve with this being a new program. So feel free to always reach out to me, or you can reach out to AK as well if you have any questions about your participation while you're in the program. So next steps after you all have enrolled. Prepare to receive an email that lets you know it's time to start saving. As I mentioned, if you're already enrolled, then you would be in the December cohort. So you would receive that email on December 1st that said, hey, it's time to start tracking your savings for the month of December. And again, what that means is your first payment would come in January because you are tracking that whole month of December, that savings for the whole month. Okay, is there a question that is coming in?
Yes. So Trisha's asking, just to confirm, December is not the only month to enroll in the program, just the 25th or whatever preceding month someone wants to sign up for. And someone else has the same question.
Yes. Now, what I will say is right now, the program is closed until we're able to get more funding. And so right now we have many folks most folks are already enrolled. And so that 25th wouldn't apply to them. But in the future, once we open the program back up again and we're able to accept new folks in the program, then they would have until the 25th of the month before they're ready to participate in the program. So As I mentioned, let's say that someone wants to start in February. So they would have until January 25th to begin in February. Does that answer y'all's question?
Yeah, I think they're saying yes in the chat.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Yeah, so this is going to be an ongoing program, even though right now we have created a wait list. Once we're able to open the program back up again, this isn't just like a program that we're only rolling out for a certain amount of time. This is something that's going to be ongoing. But for right now, we have all the folks that will be enrolled within this cohort. Okay. Make sure that you check your junk mail. If you haven't received emails on the dates, you should be receiving emails. For instance, the first of the month, as I mentioned, if you have been receiving emails from me and all of a sudden the first of the month rolls around and you haven't received that monthly survey, email me and let me know. But also make sure you check your junk mail. The platform that we automatically send the emails from sometimes can go in folks' junk mail. So it's important to check to make sure it hasn't landed there and that you show that this is not junk and it can go into your regular inbox. What I'll also say is when you are receiving those monthly emails each month for you to report your savings, that link that you will receive is unique to you and it's unique to the month that you are reporting for. So you won't be filling out the same, you won't be utilizing the same link for every single survey throughout your entire participation. Like it'll be a new survey every month, but it's linked specifically to you so we can track things specifically for you. It looks like. Okay, so someone has a question. To be clear, we cannot save more than 500 the whole time of participation in the program. Thank you so much for asking that. So no, you can save as much as you want. I have some folks that are already participating in the program and they have saved 500 in 1 month and they're still participating. So what our goal has been is to help folks to build up a savings cushion of at least $500. And so where that number came from is that we matched the 240. Well, it's 260 with the bonus payment. And then if folks are saving $40 on their own a month for the 6 months, then that would be 240. And that's how we got to the 500 that folks would have for their participation within the program or at the end of the program. But you can save as much as you want. We honestly encourage you to save more if you can, if that's comfortable for you. Hopefully that answers your question. So yes, to be clear, we would love for you to save as much as you are able to.
There's another question. Can we change our emails if need be?
So if you do have to change your email address, email me and you'll have my contact information at the end of this presentation. And also all of your communication will be coming from me unless perhaps your primary language that you would like to speak in is Spanish, then you would be having information coming from AK. Sometimes it might come from me as well. But that's a great question because we want to make sure whatever email address you put on your intake is something that you check frequently. If you put something there that you say, oh, that's the wrong email address, send that to me as soon as possible so that I can go ahead and update that in the database. But all of the communication is going to go to the email address that you listed on your intake form. So please make sure that's something that you have access to and that you check frequently.
And I think Miriam is just asking, is there a limit for the saving months? Is there any limit?
No, so you can save as much as you want. So if you save up to $40 a month, you would get that maximum match from us. But no, you are able to, if you would like to save more than that, feel free to save as much as is comfortable for you. So there's no limit at all within this program for you to be able to continue to participate. Hopefully that answers your question, Miriam. Okay. Another thing that I'll mention is what you'll see in the emails that you'll receive from me is they can seem to be a bit lengthy. It's a lot of information, especially in the welcome email and the email where it's time to save, that will say it's time to start saving. Now, the emails after that with the monthly email for you to fill out your monthly survey, those are very, very short emails. But the other email communication that you receive from me, what I ask is that you read through the entire email, because it's a lot of important information that is put in there, and it can help you to really understand the program and understand what you need to do next or what you can be expecting. So a lot of times what that can do is that can cut down on some questions that you may have. What can also be helpful is for you to watch this webinar once again. That can be helpful for you to understand, or even just go through the slides when you receive those. But I'm always here to answer any questions that you all have throughout your duration in the program. But definitely read through the entire email. They're not emails for you to skim, because it's a lot of information that you would need to know during your participation. Okay, and then AK, do we have some other questions that are coming in?
Yeah, so just one question about the recording. If we're going to be sharing it.
Yeah, so everyone will receive, I'm going to actually be sending out a welcome email. As I mentioned previously, I'll be sending that out next week, and that will be a welcome to the program, and it will include this recording of the webinar as well as the slides as well. So you'll have both of those to be able to refer back.
There's another really good question.
Yeah.
Will participants in this program still be eligible for future grants?
And when you say future grants, what I'm guessing is that you are referring to the safety fund grant. And if I'm correct in that assumption, then yes. So we don't have it where you can only participate in one program and you're no longer eligible for another. So yes, you will still be eligible to apply for future safety fund grants that we have, other programs that you might be eligible for. You are highly encouraged to apply for those as well. Excellent. And thank y'all. These are really good questions. Okay. So I know I mentioned this earlier, and as I mentioned, this is something that we really want to emphasize, is to make sure you fill out your monthly survey on time. Again, this is a one-time program that you would be participating in, and we don't want you to lose your monthly match. So whatever makes sense for you to set those reminders to say, okay, here comes the first. It's time for me to fill out that survey. As I mentioned before, those who are already enrolled, and of course you would have enrolled by the 25th of this month, then your first survey would be emailed to you on January 1st. So if you want to go ahead and plug into your calendars, plug into your phone, or write it down, January 1st, I'll be receiving a survey, and I will know that this is when I need to say how much I saved for the month of December. Every survey that you fill out will be asking you what you saved for the previous month. So again, January survey you received, what did you save for the month of December? February survey you received, what did you save for the month of January? So it's always the previous month, and it can be easy to remember that because you're receiving the survey on the first of the month. So it's no way that you would be reporting for that particular month because you haven't had time to save for that month yet. Is there any other questions that are coming in, AK?
No.
Okay, perfect. So I know we kind of went over this already, but remember that you will receive communication via email through the email address you listed on your intake form. and you will receive your matching payments through the payment option you listed on your intake form. And the reason that I wanted to make sure that I bolded this on the slide is because folks that are already participating in the program, sometimes they may have forgot what email address that they listed, and they may say, oh, I hadn't received it, or, oh, that's the wrong email address, and now I'm, late with my monthly survey, or almost late with my monthly survey. And so that's why I say, just to make sure that you remember what email address did I put down, and making sure that you are checking that email address frequently, or it is an email address that you would be checking frequently. As someone had asked a question earlier, if for some reason at any point in time you need to change that email address, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to send me an email. Hey, this is so-and-so. This was my previous email address. I would like to use this email address going forward with communication during my participation in the program. And so just to make sure that you keep that in mind, and again, checking your junk mail, and just being aware that these are the dates that you need to pay attention to, and these are the things to keep track of as you participate within the program. Okay. So I wanted to go over a few common questions that have come up from folks who haven't began participating in the program before, or who are currently participating. So what happens if I'm unable to save while participating? We know that things happen. As I mentioned previously, we wanted to make sure that this was a flexible program. So it is okay if something comes up and you cannot save that month. We don't want that to mean that you are eliminated from the program. What is required every month is that you would fill out the monthly survey. So even if you save $0, if you didn't save anything that month, still fill out the survey. And then it's some open-ended questions as well that might say, was there anything that prevented you from saving that month? So you can go ahead and include that information. But excuse me. Also, feel free to contact me so that I can support you through getting the most out of the program. So if there are any months where you are unable to save, again, fill out that survey anywhere. Fill out that survey on time. Reach out to me. Hey, this month I wasn't able to save, and there's no shame in that. But we want to make sure that you're able to, again, get the most out of the program. So you and I will have a conversation to make sure that this program is getting you to that max of that 240 that we talked about before. Again, even if you can't save, make sure that you fill out that survey, because we still want to make sure that we collect that information as well. And as I'm talking about collecting information, what I'll say is everything that you have filled out, everything that you will continue to fill out, will be completely confidential. We will only a certain members of our team at FreeFrom even have access to that information. But there's no way that this information is being shared with other folks or anything like that. But we want to make sure that you know that your privacy and your confidentiality is our highest and our top priority. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that to y'all, because I know you're filling out a lot of personal information, especially when it comes to maybe your bank account information or anything like that. That's very personal, very private, and you don't want it to get into the wrong hands. So I just want to make sure that you all know that we handle that very delicately. When do I receive my first match? So as I mentioned, your first match will be received the following month that you begin the program. I know we've gone over this, but it could be helpful for some folks to hear it again. So if you begin December 1st, which most of you, if not all of you would, you will report for the month of December on January 1st, and you will receive your match on January 15th, unless it falls on a weekend or holiday. And I'm pretty sure, but I'll have to check the calendar. I think the 15th does fall on a weekend. So just to keep that all in mind, that is when you would be receiving your first month match. A lot of folks believe that they start the program and they get a match within that same month. But we want to make sure folks have a full month to be able to save. And then the following month, they would receive that match and they would report their savings for the previous month. Okay. I didn't receive an email and or my matching payment. What should I do? Contact me, contact M for any questions that you have regarding the program. I'm here to be as supportive as you need me to be throughout. So when in doubt, contact him. That is the mantra of the program. When in doubt, contact him, and I will be able to check on things for you. I have some folks that are already in the program. And for instance, I received an email today that said, hey, can you check to make sure that I filled out my monthly survey for the month of October. So the November survey. And I was able to go in, and check that. So you can ask questions like that as well, just to be sure to make sure that everything is received. So if you're the type of person that needs a confirmation in that way, and maybe throughout the whole program, you ask me each month, hey, Em, can you check on that? That is completely fine. Do not feel that you need to hold back that part of yourself to make sure that you have that type of reassurance. When do I get my sign-on bonus? So you'll receive your sign-on bonus along with your first month's matching payment. And again, if you save $40 or more, you receive the $40 match plus the $20 sign-on bonus for a total payment of $60. And just to also repeat, you can save more than $40 a month. If you could save $1,000 a month, that's grand. You can go ahead and do that, report that. That's not going to affect your participation in the program at all. We want you to be able to get the most out of it, and we want you to be able to build up your savings, to save for all of the things that you all mentioned with that first question, and also just to be able to have it on your own. One other thing that I don't have in these questions that has come up before is, can I spend my match when I get it? Do I need to wait until the end of the program, or do I need to put that back into my savings? You are free to do with your matching payment whatever you would like. You are free to do with your savings with whatever you like. The savings is there for you. You have the freedom to be able to take that money and do as you please. If you have to spend it for 1 month, 2 months, or however much, feel free. There's no shame in that. But we don't want you to feel that you have to have at the end of the program have waited to spend a certain amount. Now, if your goal was to build up your savings account, then maybe that is your goal, to say, okay, everything that I'm putting into my savings, into my jar that I have at home or whatever, I'm not going to touch that. I want to just at least say, for the participation in this program, my goal is to just let that be. Then feel free to do it that way. But we just know things come up, so we don't want you to feel that it's held against you if you have to spend any of your savings during that time. Okay, I know that was a lot of information. I wanted to open up the floor to questions, any additional questions that you have, or even any thoughts that are coming up for you right now. And I'll give you all a moment to think of that, because I know for me, it takes me a moment to be able to think through what questions I might have. And I want to also let you all know, if questions don't come out right now, but they come out later, feel free to send me an email with those questions as well. No pressure that you have to ask a question right now, but I wanted to make sure I open the floor up for that. Okay, so I see one question that's coming in. Who is eligible to be a part of this program? So this program is only for survivors of gender-based violence, intimate partner violence. So it's specifically, we wanted to build something that was for survivors and that centered survivors. So that is who is eligible for the program. And as I mentioned earlier, right now we have a wait list for the program. We filled up pretty quickly for the spots that we had, and we are actively seeking additional funding so that we can open up more spots quickly for folks to be able to participate. Hopefully that answers your question. And thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate that. Okay, so someone else asked, how do you know if you got selected for the program? Okay, so if you are enrolled in the program, you would have gotten through the entire intake survey. And at the end of the intake survey, there would have been a message that said, thank you for filling out the intake survey. And that you would receive an email from M. Jackson, which is me, that would let you know when it's time for you to start saving. If you can't remember what was at the end of that intake survey, I know that was a little while ago for some folks, then feel free to send me an email and let me know what your name is, and I can check to make sure that that we have received your intake survey. So again, you would have gotten that message at the very end of the survey, the last page, once you hit submit. And if not, if you actually filled out the information for the wait list, then that would have let you know as well that your information was placed on a wait list. And another question that I'm getting is, what other requirements exist? So the requirements that exist is the 4 questions that were asked within the intake survey, and we had that on our outreach as well. So it asked if you were able to save up to $40 a month, if you had access to a payment option that you could receive matching payments from us, if you had access to the internet so that you could be able to fill out the monthly survey. And I cannot remember what the 4th one was, but those were the major questions that were asked. So that was the requirement. So it's that, and then, are you a survivor? Okay, and for those 2 questions that I answered, if you all need me to clarify any more, then let me know. Okay, let's see. Thank you, AK, for putting my email address in the chat. And okay. And so just to let folks know as well, if you are a survivor, gender-based violence, we would also include folks that have been subjected to any type of trafficking or sexual assault or anything like that. So any type of violence that you've endured, we would consider you a survivor. And I don't say that to say that we offer the only definition of what a survivor is, but just letting you know, it's not just that you have to have been someone who was subjected to intimate partner violence or domestic violence, but gender-based violence, we like to use that term because it's really an umbrella term that makes sure that it includes everyone who has experienced violence based on their gender or anything else that would fall under that. Hopefully that answers the question. Let me know if that didn't. And then if we have any other programs to save. So this is our only program that we have, the savings matching program, at this current time. And also, no need to apologize at all. I love questions, and I'm also a person that says there's no question that is ignorant or anything like that. You don't know until you ask. So thank you for being brave enough to ask any questions that you're asking.
There's another question in the Q&A. Do survivors need to provide proof that they are survivors?
No, we trust that if you are saying that you're a survivor, that you are a survivor. And in our intake surveys, we have a brief definition for folks, because there's some folks that may not identify with the term of survivor, but once you list out what someone would have been subjected to, then they can say, oh, okay, yeah, wow, actually I am a survivor. And so we have that in our intake survey, and you'll see that really in all of our surveys. If you have ever received a safety fund grant, we pretty much use similar language, so folks know what to expect when they are interacting with our programming. Okay, I'm glad that answered your question. Ooh, this is a great question. Okay, I know this, I want to make sure that I read this out loud. So do you have to be a certain age to participate? And yes, you do. So you have to be at least 18 to participate. We do surveys and everything, and we are not able to collect information from minors unless we have permission of guardians or parents. And so we only have those that are 18 and over that we would have participating in this program. Oh, this is another great question as well. Does a survivor have to have a legal status to participate in the program? No, not at all. So, and that's one of the reasons that we made sure that folks knew they didn't need to have a social security number to participate. You just need to have access to some way to receive the matching payments from us. So PayPal, Venmo, check and mail, or if you have access to a bank account. But we wanted to make sure those other options were there for folks, and making sure that you have access to an internet connection to be able to submit the surveys every month. You can do that through your phone, you can do it through a computer. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention as well. If you're having any trouble submitting your survey each month, reach out to me and let me know, hey, I keep trying to submit this, but it's giving me an error with my email address, or something else. Feel free to, when in doubt, reach out to M. And I'll go ahead and troubleshoot that with you. Okay. Yeah, we really wanted to make sure that this program was something that worked for all survivors, and that folks felt their participation in this program was empowering, and that it wasn't something that was another form of control that they may have experienced, or anything that just didn't feel that it was, a good fit for folks. We wanted to make sure that it was something that everyone that identifies as a survivor would be able to participate in and really gain things from. Oh, thank you so much, Rosangela. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm so excited for you to be a part of the program. And good luck on your appointment. And you're welcome, Amilda. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. So just to let everybody know, in the emails that you'll receive from me, everything is detailed out. And if it's anything within the email that you're saying, Em, you didn't answer that, this is another question I have, then you can reach out to me and I'll be sure to answer that for you. But there's not anything that you need to sign to participate at all. As I mentioned, the next email you'll get from me will be a welcome email that'll come out next week, and that'll include the recording as well as the slides and some other information to prepare you for your first month of savings. And then following that, if you are just now enrolled, which most of you are, if not all of you, then December 1st would be the first time that you would receive that email that would say, hey, it's time to start saving. So each email that you receive will instruct you on what exactly you need to do at that moment. We didn't want to leave anything up to doubt or any type of confusion for folks that are participating, but we know that things can still come up that are not completely answered. So feel free, once you have received those emails, to let me know if there's anything else that you have questions about. But I don't want you all to feel at all that you're kind of left hanging on what you should be doing next. So all of that will be coming. Okay, so, but I know we have a couple minutes left, so I wanted to ask, do you have any last thoughts, feelings, images, or actions you're thinking of as we come to a close? Perhaps that might be, I'm excited about the program, or I am looking forward to saving, I'm looking forward to these emails, anything like that. If you are comfortable, or if you would like to, I should say, feel free to share that in the chat for everyone. And as you all are sharing any last thoughts or feelings, if you would like to, in the chat, what I want to say is thank you. Here is my contact information. Here is Anakaren's information. Again, if you prefer to communicate in Spanish, then Anakaren would be the person to reach out to, but you can also reach out to me as well, and I can get you connected. But thank you all for giving me and AK your most valuable resource, your time. We are very, very excited for you to participate in this program, whether it be that you have interacted with us in one of our previous programs, the Safety Fund grant, or maybe you are brand new to interacting with FreeFrom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those who have already been interacting with us, it's great to see you again. But I am grateful to be in community with you all. Please do not hesitate to ask me any questions that you have, and don't ever feel like you're asking me too many questions. I'm always here to be supportive and to help. AK, is there anything that you would like to share before we sign off?
No, just thank you everyone for being here, and happy to support you through this process and for your journey, your savings journey to begin.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I know someone asked if this program is available in Spanish. One thing that I would let you know is all of our materials we have are in English and in Spanish. And everything will be translated to Spanish. And so we're working as an organization to make sure that we are having all of our materials and our programming accessible for multiple languages as well. But we're just not quite there yet. But we do have all of our materials in English and Spanish.